Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pull Up 3. I am Paris.
No, we were on a dream last week.
Oh, dear heavens.
But
Okay.
let's Subria. We're gonna talk about the trademark stuff, trademark stuff first, and then we can talk about the rest of the transactions.
Ooh,
You
Because I think we got a lot more.
Because I'm here. Like I'm here the whole way through now.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll still start with that because we kind of need to whack the W just a tad bit. So for the people who don't know, there's last May, there's this guy named Ryan. No, that's not his name. There's this guy who
It is.
owns a basketball league, a women's basketball league. It's actually called Women's Basketball League. That he hopes to be a feeder system to the WNBA. Like he's thinking like G League, right? And so he decided that he wanted to take the Detroit Shock name and apply it to his company. Like he wanted to use that name. Um is that a little weird? Just a tad, because you're not really you not part of them people business, but we'll wait for the commentary. So then he applied for a trademark for um the name Detroit Shock and to use it. And Subria clocked this and brought the to the attention of the entire TL. And so Subria, I'll let you finish telling them the people like how it played out and where we are now.
Okay, cool. So yes, his name is Ryan Reed, actually.
Oh,
So
I thought
you
that was a journalist. Sorry.
so you were right. And so the news first came to the timeline on May 29th of 2024, but he actually registered or filed to register the trademark July 21st of 2023. So this had actually been like a years in the making. And I haven't gone to check the status of it, but he also told me that he filed one for the Cleveland Rockers as well. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so he filed the application July 21st, 2023. And he came like guns blazing when people had first reported that, there's some interest in Detroit putting in a bid for a new W team. And so during those early reports, someone, I can't remember, I think it was Corey E. Woods, was like, in the event that a WNBA team returns to Detroit, as of now, they will not be named the Detroit Shock. I just spoke with Ryan Reed of the Women's Basketball League, and he stated the trademark of the Detroit Shock went abandoned by the WNBA, and he purchased it last year. Okay, so first of all, there's no such thing as like technically purchasing a trademark outright. Like that's not how it works. You file the application, but in order to file the application, you pay a filing fee. That does not mean that you just own the trademark. It's like a 12 to 18-month process. So I kind of talked to him, privately, and I was like, "Yeah, sir, I just want to let you know, like that's not how that works." But
Why you had to? That's what. Hold on. Just I'm gonna pause you right there. I just want everybody to know I tell Sabria to stop helping these people every time. She don't listen to me, but hopefully after this incident, she stopped helping these people because how the fuck are you trying to steal somebody's shit and you ain't got your ducks in a row?
I was a little concerned when he kind of messaged me and was like, "I do own it." And I was like, "Sir, no. Like, I'm not a lawyer, but I did go to the number 4 law school in the country for 2 years, and only have a year left. So I feel like, I know a little something, something." But I was like, "Yes, sir. Like, unfortunately, like, that's not how it works. Like, you filed the application. It's just been assigned to an examiner." This is what I'm telling him at the time. I'm like, "There's some back and forth that you have to do, and then they're going to publish the trademark for opposition." At that point, the WNBA or anyone else can come in and say, well, actually, we feel like this is going to harm our brand, our business, whatever. And so we're going to ask that you not register this trademark. And then only if that doesn't happen or he's able to like fight that successfully, only then is a trademark approved and then registered. So it just got registered on the 4th. And he was talking like he owned it May 29th. So yeah.
I guess he was manifesting.
I mean,
okay, so then the W go back and try to put the trademark in for all of the defunct organizations. Is that true?
So they didn't do Portland, but I believe they did the rest. However, they did Detroit first and separately on January 30th of this year. But I was a little confused because, again, I don't know everything. But in my experience, before someone files a trademark, the attorney is supposed to do a preliminary search in the system of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office database and see if there are any other like applications filed for the name Detroit Shock. I'm not sure if that happened because I genuinely believe that because this trademark has not been registered since they filed, once it's given to an examining attorney, they're going to be like, so no, because there's already a trademark file for this. And essentially it's a waste of money because trademarks, the same trademark name, I guess, can exist, but it has to be in a completely different area, right? Like if maybe I own a taser company and I want to name one of my tasers Detroit Shock, I can do that probably because it's not basketball services, like a service of basketball entertainment, and it's not clothing because those are the two classes that they registered in. But the W went and filed a trademark in the two exact classes as the WBL's application, and so I'm sure it's going to get flagged. And I genuinely don't know why they didn't look at that sooner or figure out some other options because I don't think it's going to work. And so that filing really doesn't mean anything, except the WBL filed two trademarks. They filed one for just the name Detroit Shock, and then they filed one for their logo. Now that logo is in the opposition period as of 2 days ago. So maybe they can go and be like, oh, actually, this is too close to ours. Like you can't have the same colors and like a little lightning bolt in there like the Shock. But that's like the only thing they can do at this point. Because he already told me that he didn't do this to sell it. So as far as I know, he's telling me he's not coming off this name.
Which is, I mean, to be fair to him, like, it's not his fault that the WA had their shit together. Like, this was available. I also have a basketball league. You know, the Detroit Shock are remembered fondly. So this is good PR for me. But also, bro, like, that's not your shit. Like
Yes.
nobody's going to like come to your league. Like you don't even have, you don't have their history. You don't have any of the thing. Like you're trying to like repurpose their shit, and it's like it's not gonna hit the same. So I don't understand why you wouldn't like, at the very least, just get the bag off of it. I mean,
yeah. So he did tell me that this league was created in 1978, I believe. And so they have some history and they have had teams in the past. Like Chicago had a team. I can't remember what the name is, but there are some places that had teams. But obviously, they did not have the same names as WNBA teams. So my thing is, why would you not want to create if Detroit never had a team before, so there's no name from a previous WBL team to use, why not come up with something different? Like, why you got to steal their nachos? Because if I hear something about the Detroit Shock and I hear basketball, I'm gonna be confused. Did you see how many people were quote tweeting my tweet when I said that it was registered to the WBL? And everybody
Yes.
was like, yes,
I
let's
want to
go.
point out that the people did not read that. Like that was actually an excellent study, and like people do not read.
They don't. They
They
don't.
saw Detroit Shock and women's basketball
Yes.
league and said,
Yes.
"Yes, we won."
Yes. But how?
Close
But
enough.
no, go ahead.
No, I was like they was like, you know what, close enough. We can
And you
celebrate now.
listen, and I'm so thank you for saying that, because the reason why trademarks can't be, I guess, filed within the same classes. And like this instance, the WNBA had a very clear opposition case to say it is going to increase the likelihood of confusion. That there is no way that that brand is not going to confuse people thinking that it's our brand. And so they should not be able to benefit from that. And I agree. And it's just too messy and confusing. Like, I genuinely don't understand why he felt like he really needed this name. Like, you don't get to just, like, you just coming in and stopping history for one organization and then trying to like get it yourself. Like, why do you think that that would even be good PR for you? Because as a fan, if I'm a real basketball fan, I'm gonna clock you and whack you because I think this is lame.
Yeah. And two, it's like it don't even feel like how much momentum do you think you have as a league if like the first time somebody hears about it, like they're not even gonna remotely connect it to you. Like none of us would have even known this happened, obviously, had you not seen it, Subria, and brought it to our attention. So it's like I don't even think it's giving you the attention or the clout that you think it should give you.
To me, it strikes me as one of those things where people say like all PR is good PR, and I do not believe in that statement. It's like you said, it may be temporary for people to be like, "Ooh, Detroit Shock," and get really excited, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is not a part of WBA," and then just like the momentum is gone. So I don't, I just I don't know. I don't really see the vision.
Yeah, same. When I asked him, I asked him like straight up, now that the bid has been put in to bring a WNBA team back to Detroit, do you still maintain your decision to file this and use it for your WBL team name? Because I truly am gagged. Like, the audacity of it is crazy. He said, as of now, yes, because we have partners and stream deals in the works. But I'm open to them going to the WNBA. That would be dope. We don't even know if they want to be the Shock yet. So it is business as usual. Okay, so two things. I think whether they want to be the Shock or not, it is always going to be WNBA history. Like, whether, even if no one had put in a bid, right? The Made for the W Lids collection went real crazy last year, and it had Detroit Shock hats. Homage has a Detroit Shock shirt. Like, it's still a part of their history that they can continue to profit off of, to at least, remind people of that history. But I would assume that they would likely talk about using that name. But also, how do you think that someone is just going to be like, oh yeah, so since he got the name, we could just bump them up to the WNBA? Like, how do you think that works? You need an ownership group, and you not gonna just get to take your players and bump and give them a promotion to the WNBA.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like you like what was your plan? Like genuinely, like who in the W office did you even speak to say like, yeah, this is gonna be their development league? Like, do they even know you exist for you to be like attaching yourself to their shit? And then on top of that, you're using, like, you're not even helping them. Like, you're not helping them. So I don't understand why you like, why it would be thought that this was a good plan. And I honestly, so I Googled WBL because I just want to see what come up. First of all, the first thing that comes up is women leaders in business. So like you're not like your shit, like your brand isn't even doing what you need to do. I had to scroll down. So there's a WBL Sports, which seems like a school. This seems like a school website. I don't know what them kids doing. You're the third. Hold on. Nope, you're not even the third because there's a radio show. There's a calendar for WBL. That's something about healthcare. You're the fifth thing that comes up. And your at name, I mean, your like thing is WBL 2024. What does that mean? Like, and then you already advertising on your teams. You already have a Detroit Shock, and you're using the Cleveland Rocker shit. Did you file one for that? Like,
yeah, I told you. He said he did.
You already using that, so it's like how in your mind did you like? I don't quite understand what's happening. Like,
listen, he told me back in May that he had been talking to some people in the league office. I don't know who he's talking to. He said we've been in talks with people that work in the league. Now I don't know where they work at in the league. I can't possibly welcome idea or what. But yeah, I really want the W to take this to court, like genuinely, because it really don't even make sense to me. And I don't really understand what his goals are, because when I was trying to do research, I think on the Facebook page, the email address is like info@womensbbl.com. I said, now womensbbl.com. Girl, I don't think he met or consulted with anyone in PR, marketing, communications, anything, because this whole thing is just bad to me.
The other thing I'm thinking about is like, it hasn't even been that long since the Detroit Shock existed. Like their last season was 2010. Like if it was like maybe somewhere in like the 80s, 70s, all right,
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I kind of understand you a little bit, but like Obama was president while this team was around. Like this is not that long ago. There's people had time to be fans for a long time and still be around. Like this is not.
Yeah.
It's not enough time for you to be trying to do that.
And they only went defunct because the owner died. He died, and his
That's
wife.
Not funny. Like, I'm not laughing at the fact that man passed. Let's just clear that up. I'm so sorry. That killed me a little bit.
But like he died, and his wife was like, "So let me move this portfolio around and sell it." And then they went to Tulsa, and now they're in that. Now they're in Dallas. So the fact that like even that happened, that they didn't just go completely defunct like Miami. Mm-hmm. It's still part of the history of the Dallas Wings. So not only are you capitalizing off of the fact that that man died, like they still are relevant in the league because that is the former, team of the Dallas Wings franchise. I think it's terrible karma. It's just rude as hell. And I don't know. I just don't see how anyone thought this would go over well. Like I told people on Twitter, I'm like, I think y'all should protest, y'all should riot, y'all should get a petition going, something, because this is egregious. And I personally can't stop it because I tried. Okay, I called the W last year in May when I saw that this whole thing was happening. I called them and was like, hey, just Mr. George leaving a voicemail just to let you know that this is happening. They never called me back. And so I can't personally stop this because I think they should have opposed. But somebody need to stop this.
And even if you, so I'm just really in a Googling mood. So even if you Google Detroit Shock, the first thing that comes up is all this trademark business. And all of it is leading to, like, I'm not going to read any of the articles, but all of it is leading to, oh, the WNBA is bringing the Detroit Shock back. Like, your brand is not even at the forefront of the thing that you're trying to use. And so, like, it's literally like, in this whole first page, there is not a single thing about WBL.
That's because people think, like, I was reading some thread, like some replies to my tweet the other day when I like posted the registration certificate for the WBL.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that some people were like, oh, well, the W just filed there, so they should be good. No, that's not how that works. It's not how that works. I saw a reporter from CBS, I think, screenshot the registration and was like, oh, they did it. And then she was like, oh, wait. So it's come to my attention that that's actually the Women's Basketball League and it's not the WNBA. Well, yeah. And and I emailed the IP department on the 4th to ask for if they had any comment or an official statement. I did not get a response. I also asked League PR the same question, and I did not get a response. So I am almost willing to bet that they are just now finding out that the WBL has successfully registered the trademark for Detroit Shock.
I mean, quite frankly, though, you should not be the one. You don't work for them people. So quite frankly, like, you shouldn't even have to call them. What the fuck? The NBA is $1 billion business, and you mean to tell me you can't keep up with the WNBA's 28-year history? Hello? You have like 5, it's literally like 5 things, bro. Like, come on. You cannot tell me that y'all are so fucking busy that you can't make sure some trademark don't expire. Like,
so it expired in 21. And there are a few. Some expired, like they registered the mark and the logo in a lot of different classes. So some expired in like 08, some expired in 2014. I think the most recent one expired in 2021. But I also found out that the W does not have, so like the W doesn't even operate for real as like the W, right? Like all of the email addresses be at NBA.com for the league because they're in that office. And so the IP department has like 2 lawyers on record, and they are the NBA legal department or the NBA legal intellectual property department. So they're in charge of all of the trademarks for every single NBA team and every single WNBA team. And it's like 2 people. And I saw that it's not even just like a trademark of a team logo and a team name. Like they do all the primary logos, the secondary logos. I went and saw their filings, their pending filings for the W. They have trademarked the W. And I want to say, like, I don't know if they did made for the W, but I know they did the W and a bunch of other things that we say all the time. And they just doing like anything now. Like even the basketball is trademarked.
Kathy got to get her royalties.
Oh, but I will say the funny thing is, it's funny how they sent, I don't know if you remember Jasmine Barber. She was doing some merch a few years ago. They sent her a cease and desist. recently, Clever Shirts had a design that didn't even mention a W, but it had the basketball had the like white orange pattern. That is trademarked by the W. So they even sent him one saying you can't use this basketball. Like you got to change the colors or whatever. So doing all of that for people selling merch and sending cease and desist, but not actually making sure your other trademarks are valid is crazy.
Focused on the wrong shit. How on brand for the NBA? How on brand?
This makes me wonder if the Upshot League is going to potentially have any potential issues. I mean, I know they only are in like 4 cities, and not what they're doing is they're like having people write in names, and I guess they're going to pick from that. But if they're having issues with like color schemes, and names and trademarks and things, I hope, because I think they're trying to be like a feeding system as well. I hope they can kind of get things going without as many hitches, because it definitely seems like it could be a really good thing for women's basketball as a whole.
I mean, I think that the W needs a feeder system, but like it can't just be these random things. Like it has to like it needs to be something that's well thought out. Like we don't need you to take the history that the W already has, come up with your own shit, get a plan, have it figured out. Like put it in a city that already exists, actually collaborate with the WNBA and like make it a thing. But to be trying to use like OW shit, and I get it because you're in the Midwest and you feel like that's probably what all the teams are look like they're in the Midwest. So it's like plus Toronto, which is random. Um, so I feel like maybe you're trying to garner some hype, but it's like not it's not really helping you right now. Like, and you don't seem like you're actually involved in what's actually happening. So I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. Said one of like a lot of his conversations have been with the older players, like the retired players who come from like Cleveland and Detroit, and how they basically feel erased or forgotten about by the W. And I'm like, those are valid points. Those are definitely issues that the W needs to address, but I don't think this is the way. That almost sounds like a conversation that should have been had with the National Basketball Retired Players Association, who also very similar to the NBA, darn near operates like it's all about just the national, like basically the retired NBA players, and they don't really have someone focused on the W. But I don't see why the partnership couldn't have been with them to then facilitate conversations with the league to say, hey, what can our retired players do who maybe were faces of franchises or were instrumental in winning championships to keep the legacy alive? Like, give them, put some money in their pocket and help them serve a purpose. Because if I recall correctly, when they were in Cleveland, wasn't something the NCAA something in Cleveland? I didn't go because I don't like Cleveland.
Yeah, it was last year.
The Final Four.
Yeah. And I remember that Chastity Melvin, and I saw from some other people that they were having a meet and greet with the old players. Like, I don't understand why that's something that couldn't already be done. Like, again, I know you said stop giving my ideas to them, but that's something that I also have kind of communicated about. Why don't y'all have like a Charlotte Sting night at a Hornets game, or a Cleveland Rockers night at a Cleveland Cavs game, and have the honor those women, to keep them a part of it, to touch those fans who maybe aren't fans anymore because they don't have a team where they live in their market, and just do what's good. That's more PR. It's could not hurt. And I just
I
don't
mean, they already trying to steal the WNBA fans anyway, so you might as well do something fucking nice for them.
The problem is the NBA has problems promoting itself, so I know for a fact it's gonna have problems promoting the W. Like they can barely promote somebody that's not Steph or KD or LeBron. Like so they got people on TNT who don't like basketball. It's just it's a mess. So I know for a fact it would be nice for them to do something WNBA themed, but I know it would go nasty.
No, so what I'm talking about is something that would not be coordinated or managed by the league itself, but something that the Retired Players Association can kind of do for like a call to action or get interest from like all the players at once. And then they will go to like Detroit, the team front office individually, and Charlotte, because I know that Detroit has done one recently actually. One of the things that they submitted was that they in the last few years they honored them for like a 20-year celebration of a championship. So I'm just saying use it as like a group night, a theme night, and just have W fans come out. I definitely don't want the NBA to be in control of nothing because they already keep screwing us with this ESPN TV deal, and they just re-signed with Nike for like another 10 years or 20 years or something crazy. I actually really cannot stand the NBA's decision making on the W. It's depressing.
Yeah, because they're an unserious brand, which is it's unfortunate too because it's like it's not even hard shit that you really asking for. It's very like this is honestly bare minimum. Like, and they even could use the shit for their own franchises. Like, I don't know. I don't go to NBA games, but like y'all not it's not that.
Yeah, I don't know how either commissioner works. Like, do they have a board of people where they go to them and tell them ideas and be like, okay, so here's why this is a bad idea? Because I don't know how or why they let Adam run with this whole betting partnerships thing, and now you got to investigate your own players
And it keep
for
happening too. Like I just feel like just aside to that, that feels like a cognitive dissonance. You are sitting here saying you have FanDuel as the part your main streaming partner, and now you're investigating your players for betting. It's like you want everybody to be a part of it except them, which I get. I get them skimming the books. I don't really care that it's bad. Like it's not even that bad to me. I don't care. Um, you made me be a part of this thing, and so like, why can I not benefit? Whatever, conflict of interest, whatever. But like, you want them to. I don't know. It's just that just doesn't make sense. That just doesn't really make sense.
It really be like breaking news sponsored by DraftKings. Player is being investigated for betting on themselves, and it's like, whoa,
I'm
this
streaming.
is a lot of irony in this.
Bro,
Yeah.
or the plays, they'll tell you like anytime they write ESPN writes an article, they gotta put like signed by ESPN bets. It's like, why the fuck would you like we are here for basketball analysis. Why are you telling me what the spread is? I don't even understand what this means, but why are you telling me that?
Because it's one of their it's one of their activations for the partnership. Like they pay for that. Like,
well, I get that, but it's also kind of like, bro, like you're
yeah,
as a business, like as ESPN as a sports business,
yes,
you are cheapening your own shit by literally saying, actually, hey, 100, the Hawks gonna win by 15. Like, did you like what does that have to do with the analysis that nothing you wrote answers this, but now
Right.
you're putting this information out. It's not giving that. It's not. I don't like it.
And you putting your players in more harm. Like back in the day, right? It used to be like investigative series about people who bet, and like it used to involve Vegas and how a college player or something might have thrown the game and ended up, getting caught. But now it ain't even about Vegas no more. Like you just got anybody and their mama with a cell phone and like a bank account betting on players and attacking them on social media. And in today's world where people are absolutely nuts, you don't think that could also pose some safety risks for your players if they do something that messes up someone's parlay? Like this is what I'm saying. I don't think the NBA thinks about anything long term. And Lord knows I don't think the W does either. Because they tried to eat me up when I said I didn't want Steph and Clay at nobody's WNBA All-Star. And I was all for it being an NBA All-Star, but I'm like, no, don't bring that here. I don't want that here. And people couldn't even understand the difference between having them at our All-Star or them going to their All-Star. All they want to talk about is the marketing. I hate the word marketing now. Now everybody is fucking experts in marketing. And everything is marketing. And it's only about marketing. But then no one thinks about the long-term stuff. And then 5 years from now, they're going to be like, oh, oops.
Actually, and the things that they be calling marketing too is just like, do you realize that like marketing, you have to have a plan, right? Like there are things that are supposed to happen to lead up to a game. What's your goal here? How does that feed into a goal? You don't even know the answer to that because you don't have a clue what the W's goal even is. Like you're making an assumption that it's, oh, let's get male fans interested in the WNBA. Like that, you're making an assumption about what you think is correct, and you like it's an assumption. So you have no idea whether you're right or wrong. You're probably wrong, but it's and I think not enough people have that self-awareness to be like, well, actually, like I could be wrong about this. Like, yeah, you are. Just shut up. Like you are not the marketing team. You have no like you don't even have a fucking marketing degree. You probably don't have a degree at all, actually. I don't like to shame people for not going to school, but like you don't have a fucking idea what you're even saying right now. You can't even read. I need y'all to stop. Like, and this is also why I had to kind of like get off Twitter for a bit because the people just be anyway.
This kind of reminds me of how we talk about coaching. Like, it's like you don't know what a coach is going for on a day-to-day basis. You don't know what they do in practice. You don't know what their game plan is. You don't know what they were looking for on the court. You just see what the product is on the court. Like, to be completely honest, 99% of regular folks do not know if a coach is good or not. Like, just because a coach wins a bunch does not mean they are good. And just because a coach loses a lot does not mean they're necessarily bad. Like, you can tell a player the perfect things to do, and if they don't execute it, then that's their fault. And it's like, it's like you said, it's the same way in marketing. Like, you don't know what the W's goals were. We've had episodes where we talked about how like the W was effectively like sabotaged for multiple years. Like people talked about how big previous years were, and like the W has had really big years early on, and then they're like, "Hey, let's get like, what about this TV deal?" And then ESPN and it was just like, "Nah, I don't want to put y'all on TV." So it's just like you don't know what they were going for, and more than likely there are reasons for why these things don't work other than people aren't interested or they don't know what they're doing or they don't make money or whatever. So it's I don't know. I feel like things are never as simple as people want them to be.
They don't really want it to be simple. Because literally any of this stuff you could like it's literally Google. You actually the fact that this year the Fever when they played who was it? The Mystics, this was like they finally broke the record for like most fans in attendance at a regular season game or something. It's 2025. That record was set in 1999. So like there is no way that like you can't see, like if you can't see the fact that something intentionally went wrong over over at least a good 10 years somewhere, then like you actually just don't want to see it. And it's okay. Actually, it's not, but we'll say it's okay because I'm not going to argue with you about it. But to some basketball news, Tennessee just beat UConn. And I have to give Kim her ones right now.
Oh.
Tennessee their ones right now because Tennessee has a huge problem with folding at the end. And I have never seen that. Like, this is that fourth quarter of basketball was probably the best fourth quarter they've played all year. Like, UConn made a comeback where it was like making a run and they didn't get flustered. They started to control the tempo of the game. I'm like, oh my God, Samara Spencer, stop just running to the fucking basket. Like, we really won. Like Tennessee fans really won right now because I'm actually flabbergasted a little bit. I'm a little flabbergasted, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was like, I was looking at the end of the game. I couldn't, like really look in and watch all of it, but I was trying to make sure. I was like, I don't know if Tennessee can hold serve right here because, like you said, they've had a lot of one possession games this season
And
where
this,
it
hold
comes
on,
down to the last possession or two, and they just let go of the rope, and it's just like you can hold on and win this game. I mean, and they're a good team. They've had a good season, but it just feels like they get into those high leverage moments and kind of crumble. But they did not do that this time.
I want to say ESPN messy as fuck because they put on they did like the replays of like the Oklahoma game, the LSU game, and who was the other team they played really close? Whoever that third team was in that stretch. They played a replay of that. And I just know fucking Ryan was on the thing talking about, yeah, they just couldn't get it together. Why? Like, I don't, you're being nasty, but so it's good that they pulled it off. It's good that they pulled it off. I was a little nervous though. I was watching it like, ooh, is she about to? But my sister Z Spearman, that's why I stand. Say what you say.
All I know is, I love her, but we got to take Paige out the National Player of the Year conversations. It was already a little stretch.
I just say, are you changing your mind? Because last week when I said Paige might have to be the one that's not an All-American, we were like, we're not there yet.
You
Are we
did
there
now.
now? It's just one game, but still, I'm just
She might still be able to
I,
be that, but the fact that they were talking about like her, Juju Hannah, and Lauren Betts being in like National Player of the Year conversation, and it's really like you said last week, it's really only Lauren Betts and like Conahan and Hidalgo. It's like I think y'all kind of should have been took her off of this beforehand, but like let's go ahead and remove that like now.
yeah, you're definitely caught.
yeah, it's one of those things where this might be seen as a statement loss, whether it's fair or not. I'm not even saying it's fair, but a lot of time when people start evaluating these cases for these players, they'll be like, "Oh, but you remember that game against Tennessee," and they will do that. Like their ballots will change based off one game. So, I mean, when the race is close, the way that this is perceived to be, that's kind of what happened.
Paige had 14, 4 rebounds, 8 assists on 5 of 16 shooting. Which, I mean, we don't really care about the efficiency talk, but I do think those early fouls kind of put a little hesitation on her. And which I get, like, right? Like you get 3 fouls, you can't do too much because you don't want to get kicked out the game. But in the second half, you kind of, I mean, you have something to lose, but do you really? You know what I'm saying? Like, get the foul. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if it's gonna be you being aggressive on offense, right? Because they lose by 4. That's maybe you making 2 more. You have 2 possessions where you're really attacking the basket, and that's like maybe the game, maybe the outcome is different, right? So I don't know. I'm obviously I don't think this really does anything for. She's definitely not player of the year. She was never my player of the year anyway. But and I was just kind of being funny. I still think she'll probably still be All-American, but it does have UConn looking funny in the light because who did we have as our 4 a couple of weeks ago? Our final 4 teams. Was UConn in one of
We
them?
had, I don't think so. I think it was South Carolina, UCLA, USC, Notre Dame.
Yes, that's what it was. I think they were in our 8 with Maryland.
Yeah, they
But
were.
then
They were.
I can still see a little Elite 8 run.
Yeah. I think for now I'm still fine with that. But it's all matchup based, and with the tournament everything goes out the window anyway. So
Yeah, because you gonna play your best basketball for these 30 minutes or whatever the fuck. And
yeah, one game Reagan Richardson could just lose her mind and the top 3 seed is gone. So
you
It
got PTSD, Jay.
I
I
do. I
I
do.
just
But
I
this
just
time, but this time, my my Terps are not gonna do me like that.
Okay, Cheyenne is back. They did. Who did they play the other day? Look, they looked all right the other day. Was it Penn State or I remember missing a game?
Let me see.
I know they played Penn State recently, and they didn't. They looked pretty good. Um,
Played.
they play Oregon tomorrow.
I just
Oh,
know it
they
has to
just
be
lost to
a
Illinois,
Yeah, they lost to Illinois by 1 point. Yeah,
and they
and they
said
they beat they beat Penn State and then lost to Illinois.
ILL.
That's show shit.
Yes, I graduated from Illinois. So I was happy
Yeah,
when they beat Maryland. All the Maryland people was crying.
they were sick. They were in fact sick because they was like, damn, it was really the last possession. Like we had it in the
gotta
bag.
and we see closing games. I know it's tough for some of these teams to close games,
Oh,
but
Maryland about to play right now. Actually, they about to play
yeah,
Oregon.
they play Oregon.
Um, First of all, just side note, whoever decided to put Stanford and Notre Dame on ESPN is going to prison. This is what I mean. Why are we watching Stanford play Notre Dame? The one time that Stanford was good this season, it was to LSU. And you know what they did? Folded like a
That
piece
was
of
a very
paper.
nasty fold.
A very nasty
That was
fold.
a very nasty fold.
Like we couldn't get Oklahoma, Ole Miss, even Louisville, California. Like what's T?
Honestly, it was probably they were gonna be like, well, it's a late game. We can get Notre Dame up here. Let's just throw them up here.
That is
The
insane.
Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo show.
Yeah, it's not a particularly close game, as I'm sure you can guess. But it's early, but yeah.
It looked like their star player though. Did she get injured? Agara? I felt like I saw her limping, but I don't
Maybe.
know if I don't see her on the floor, but that don't necessarily mean anything. Um, yeah, I don't know. This is crazy. This is a crazy scheduling thing. And this is what I've been talking about. Like people talk about like intentional things. You're putting Stanford on TV when there's a better game on. Stanford not even ranked. They're 11 and 10. That means they lost half the games they played already. Like, I don't know. Like, there was a better matchup available.
It's funny because this reminds me of the NBA just recently flexed the Lakers and the Pacers game because they thought Luka was gonna play, and Luka's not playing. So it's just a regular ass Lakers and Pacers game. And I know they are pissed.
It's terrible recently.
I know they are pissed.
Yeah,
It's what they get though. They should be promoting all of their teams.
That boy Halliburton had a 0.5 over under and did not hit that over.
Don't talk about Halliburton right now because he's on my fucking fantasy team. You should have traded me Wemby because this man is terrible. I'm like, how am I losing this week? And it's Tyrese giving me nothing.
I didn't want to be unethical.
When do you ever care about being ethical? Like,
whoa, what? I'm an ethical man.
That was disrespectful. My bad.
Thank you. Did you want to go ahead and talk about the WNBA stuff?
Okay.
Or were you still have some college stuff?
I need to say this thing about UCLA, Ohio State. UCLA, Ohio State played the other night. UCLA won, obviously. And I think they won by maybe 13 or something like that. But I just want to be clear that final box score was not indicative of how that game went. And Ohio State really took their foot off the gas. And they pissed me off. Kevin, please be serious. UCLA, it was really Lauren Betts or bust. And so I have questions. Maybe they'll figure it out. But when that lady sat down, I don't know what they was doing. It was like Kiki Rice couldn't hit a bucket. But the moment Lauren Betts got back in the game, everybody downhill driving, everybody getting offensive boards. Like, where were y'all at 2 minutes ago? So anyway, so UCLA looks a little shaky. They look a little shaky. I know I've been saying we have to make them the favorites because they're the only undefeated team in the country. And you really nobody can do anything with Lauren Betts. But I would not be shocked if they don't win the Big Ten tournament. I think they'll still make it far in the national tournament, but the Big Ten tournament, I don't know about.
Hot take of the day.
There we go. That's what we're here for.
I said my hot take last week, so Jay, you guys say your hot take at some point in this episode.
Yeah, we'll see if we get there. We might get there today. So, we have a massive transaction to talk about. So let me pull this up really quickly.
I almost want to let Jamae talk about her teams first because they did a lot of shit.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. We gotta.
Girls got their bag.
So let's look at this real quick. And let me preface this by saying, this trade has already been flipped into another trade somehow. So, but let's start with what we're looking at here. So we see the Phoenix Mercury receiving Alyssa Thomas, Satu Sabali, Kalani Brown, Sevi Uzon. Indiana receives Sophie Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, and a second rounder. Connecticut gets Natasha Cloud, Rebecca Allen, JC Sheldon, and a first rounder. And Dallas receives Kiki Herbert Harrigan, a first round pick, Dejanay Carrington, Ty Harris, a second round pick swap in 2026, Alyssa Smith, and a 2027 third round pick swap. So I know that's a lot. Where do y'all want to start in terms of the returns here?
Phoenix. We can just go from top to bottom. Listen.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, let's look at the tentative, projected starters. What do you think AT and Satu specifically, what those additions do for Phoenix?
I think uh I think that Satu and Kai are about to have like the easiest buckets of their life. Um, Especially Kai. Uh mean we talked about this last episode, but Kai is an exceptional cutter. And I think that it worked really well with Candace. And now she has arguably a just as good passer, if not like even better. I don't know if we want to argue that or not, but Alyssa Thomas is just a really good playmaker at her position. So I think she's really about to eat. And I think also that Alyssa Thomas is just a really good. She's pro. I want to say she's probably like a top like. I mean, she's like a top 5 player anyway, but she's also like a top 3 floor raiser in general. Um, I feel like you could put whatever type of pieces around her, and their games will be competitive because she's going to make them competitive. She's going to do what she has to do, no shoulders and all. So, um, I think that's going to be really good. Satu, I'm very excited to see what she looks like with more of a willing passer. And this is not a knock on Enrique because, we're the Enrique defense squad up here. Enrique shot because she needed to shoot. Like, that's just what it was. But I think having a core 3 is probably better suited to her. I think Satu is better as a 3rd best player on a team instead of a 2nd. Kalani is freed from front court hell that Dallas was in. So that should be really good. And then, Sevi was really solid for Dallas whenever she needed to be. So I think I don't know how much different this would really be for her. But opportunity is opportunity. So at least she has some familiarity with at least 2 other players.
I'm still hating. I'm still hating. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, though, I will say I feel higher on them today than I did last week. But I'm still not believing in him because Sato got up there and said, Nate Tibbetts said they're gonna play positionless basketball. And I'm like, how you gonna do that? Like, what in your mind? Like, that to me really sounds like you gonna get out there and you gonna say, Satu, Ka, y'all figure something out. Everybody else, good luck. Like, what? What's the plan? What's the plan?
Okay, so to me, I feel like AT is what's going to kind of make that work. Like when you say that they're gonna run positionless basketball, part of that stems from AT being like the de facto point guard and running the offense. So I wonder how how they generate open looks for Satu and for Kai, or how they get them going downhill, or AT finding them on cuts, doing hub work, stuff like that. So I feel like it could work. I'm not in love with Phoenix right now, but it's tough to. I'm much higher on this iteration of the team than I was on last year. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I do think this, like, I agree with that. Like I do think this is kind of like it's shaking out a little bit better. Um, I'm just curious as to what they're gonna do because people keep doing this AT as a point guard thing. And for the first, they play 40 minutes of basketball. For the first 35 minutes, that shit is cool. But them last 5 minutes, I don't want the ball in 18 hand. Not bringing it down the floor, not setting up the play. I don't want none of that. Like she not like AT ain't got the ball on the string to the point where I'm like, I want you setting up plays. Like, do I believe that she can, I think it worked in Connecticut in the sense that like Ty would bring the ball down, then she get it to AT and then AT can make some shake from, the half court or whatever. But like, and granted, they have a Sevi, right? So they have Sevi. I'm not too sure what Amy Atwell is like. Um, and Celeste, I don't want her to handle the ball either. So I need to see what that's gonna be, but I can see some sort of vision happening here.
So something I thought was interesting that I just looked at is obviously since Phoenix got a little younger, I was thinking that they're probably going to run more. I'm sure if y'all would like to guess where Phoenix was in fast break points, league wide,
I'm going to guess and say like 11.
you would be too high because they were 12. So Phoenix was dead last in fast break points per game. They only got 7 per game. However, Ka was 6th in the league. So she basically had, if it came from a fast break point from them, it was from her more than likely. So now instead of fast breaks, and it's Ka and Sophie Cunningham and Diana, maybe, and Brittany Griner, maybe. Now you have Alyssa Thomas, Satu, Ka. Like you have more to work with on that end. So I'm sure they're going to be playing faster as well. So one thing I am excited to see how they attack like mismatches in like on fast breaks. Like I'm sure the first thing they're gonna be doing is Alyssa Thomas grabs a rebound. Kyle's probably gonna be gone.
Launching that shit down the floor.
Alyssa Thomas is throwing the hell out that ball. Because I don't even know who was probably in the last like, let's say like 4 years, who was Alyssa Thomas's best like outlet threat?
Last year was Dejanay.
Okay, so now you got a supercharged Dejanay.
No, really, what you really have is a Dejanay who can finish around the rim effectively. No shade to my sister, but
like I'm sure Alyssa Thomas threw some passes to Dejanay, and she was like, "Don't know if this one's gonna work." But like,
she definitely did, and Dejanay was catching them. Her hands are incredible. I can't take that away from her. The hands are incredible. There was a point I think last season where I was like, y'all need to stop doing that because it's getting scary the way that she's like catching these passes and like obviously she's in motion, so it's a lot happening. But yeah.
Yeah, now she got supercharged Dejanay on top of Satu running somewhere. So like, Alyssa Thomas has options. So I feel like Phoenix was really half court heavy last year, and I can imagine they won't be nearly as much this year. Like they were last in fast break points last season, and I would be very surprised if they are not somewhere in the top 4 this year, at the very least.
Yeah, and honestly though, I think this iteration of the team might be like what Nate Tibbetts was actually looking for. Like to be serious, I think that might have been the case. And we'll see. We'll see if it actually like pans out long term, and meaning like at the second half of the season, how will they actually look?
Okay, so let's look at the Indiana portion here.
Jermaine, do you want to start?
I'm not gonna lie. I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but the lady was exactly what we needed. I hate that for me, and I hate that for me so bad. But like, Kelly ate that one little thing, unfortunately. And then for them to throw in Jaylen Brown, that's what kind of really gagged me because nobody mentioned her the first time around. But I'm like, you got Miss Girl and Jaylen Brown. I'm scared for what that does to Lexi Hole, but to my organization, Kelly was worth all the money. I don't know how much they paying her. I don't really know, but she was worth it. She was worth it. She was worth it.
Yeah, I must admit, I also like this for her. I like this for y'all. I would not be surprised to see her get substantial minutes at the 4. Like, I don't think it would be. I don't like. I expect the front court to be Aaliyah and Natasha Howard most of the time, but I would not be surprised to see lineups where they play Sophie at the 4 with one of the bigs at the 5, depending on what look they want to go with. I expect to see some of that during the season, just to see how that affects the way that the offense spaces the floor. I wouldn't be surprised. And I was a big fan of Jaylen Brown. What I saw from her, especially in the preseason last year, I know that she got injured early on, but I I'm intrigued to see what she could bring to Indiana. I don't know how much burn she gets, but could be a worthwhile addition, I think.
This is a very solid trade. Indiana can't get too much flowers from me from this trade, only because we have to give them all their flowers for their signings. So my flowers will be given
You at
later.
your capacity? Wow.
It's, they did too many good things. So I got them later. But this is really good. Connecticut got Natasha Cloud, Rebecca Allen, JC Sheldon, and the number 8 pick from Indiana. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Rebecca Allen is already rerouted to Chicago.
Chicago.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
So they have Lindsay Allen now.
Yes, Lindsay Allen, yeah.
And do we know if Natasha Cloud is staying?
There's an agenda for her to not stay. And honestly, I don't get that. Like from a personal, like I just don't like her on one of my team. I get that. But like in terms of like basketball, I mean, she's a solid PG. You have Tina Charles. You have Tina Charles. So somebody got to get Tina the ball. And you got Diamond DeShields. And you still got Marina. I know Marina requested a trade, but you still got her. You still got Ono. You still got JC. So like I think that she's kind of a necessary part. Especially if you can't get I just don't know if there's like if you can get too much for her. I don't know how big her contract is either, but I don't know if like I can't really imagine there being a player out there that would be a better return for Connecticut. Like I get they're blowing it up, but like you need to be serviceable, you know?
I think the only thing I could see them doing that would make sense to me is if they traded her for another pick in the first round. Because like if they're blowing it up to like blow it up for real, then if you're gonna get another young talent to see if that works, like Washington has the 4th and 6th pick. Like if you can get the 6th pick, or I mean if you can get 4 too, but if you can at the very least get the 6th and you have 6 and 8, and then you go from there, like that's cool. But like otherwise,
Can I say something?
You sure can.
I need the ladies to clock in. Okay. Like this is not the pickup league. This is not, I don't know what they think this is, but like this is not The Bachelor either. You are on a team, they acquired you, you go to work. All this, everybody requesting trades. Like, I don't know if teams have just been too nice in the past. I don't know if we just really love our girls and think with emotion instead of business. But like they need a team, okay? They have to have 11 to 12 people when it's time for the curtain to go up in May. They could be nice and have a bunch of like youngins running around, but that's not gonna pay off in the end if they don't have enough people to learn from. You should at least have like 5 solid vets at each position to show, I guess, the next group and teach them, especially because most of them not gonna be there after this year. Like it is just a year. Like relax. Like I really don't understand any other industry or even like sports league where everybody and their mama asks for a trade and fans believe that everybody and their mama is supposed to get it. Like, especially if don't nobody want you. Where can you go? Like, I don't know if people just been playing AU too long where they get to have conversations and kind of like pick what teams they want to be on. I don't know. But this is not that, especially if you got Tina. Like, first of all, don't even waste a Tina Charles season on bullshit. Like, I know that they have to work with what they have, but they have some solid people who deserve to have other solid people to play with as well. I say let her buckle up, and I don't want to hear about it again. That's
I
just
just want to say you do not have to ask if you can speak like please just you could we talk
we just shoot the
yeah,
shit.
we just be talking. Just
I
if
don't
this
know though. I think I will say like the Connecticut thing. I mean, I agree with you. Seriously, like Marina requesting a trade is like not shocking to me, but it's also like we need you, girl. You got to clock in. And I do think like I might have maybe felt differently if Tina Charles wasn't there, but you have Tina Charles. Like she really shouldn't be the one putting the team on her back, but let's be honest, she probably will. I mean, she clearly came there for a reason. We know that she just played in Atlanta. Um, she I don't know what her usage was, but it had to be high. And I don't know. I just think that like now you have somebody who like seriously, are you going to win a championship? No, probably not. But like you can still be young and fun and turn, you know. So fuck it.
I think
Yeah,
as a
I think.
GM you're oh go ahead, Jay, my bad.
Now I was just gonna say, I think Connecticut having Tina Charles, who I mean we haven't talked about yet, but having Tina Charles and having Natasha Cloud, this isn't. I don't see anything wrong with having a team with solid vets that can coach up the youngins. Like I think this is a good. I think it's a good thing to have. Like I think Tina signing is great for. Oh no, like,
Amazing for Ono, literally.
and
Like
I
it
would not.
wasn't the
I
best
wouldn't be
Ono we ever
surprised.
seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them on the court together at some point. Like, because I know earlier we talked about this before, where I was saying I felt like there could be like a minute split there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them out there together because why not?
I think we
Because
also. Oh, my bad.
it feels like this season for Connecticut is going to be about there has to be a blend of development and wanting to be a competitive team. So it's like you can't go into a season with 6 players because don't nobody want to play there. Like that just does not work.
I also think the underrated part is that Connecticut specializes in uh, dark arts of always being competitive, no matter who is on the roster. Um, so although they are on paper not that good, I would not be surprised if they're like a top 5 team just off of principle. Like that is just what they do. Like it don't matter who they lose. Like the fact that they lost John Cole Jones and then Alyssa Thomas basically was like, all right, well, I'm still here. And so they were still basically in the same position as before. Like Tina Charles and Ono, Tina Charles might give Ono the secrets, and Ono might turn out to be some all-star MVP caliber player. Lord knows what could happen. We don't know what the 8th pick could end up being, and like how the development for that might be. Um, if they find a way to get another draft pick, I think they're because they have solid vets. They have solid vets. If they get some more young players, I mean, there are minutes to go around developmental wise. So by the end of the season, like, yeah, it could just look like, oh, we're just like a team, like a middling team. Um, but they could look very promising by the end. I think the W just is so much different than the NBA because there are less teams. We talked about this last week, but like in the NBA, if you're hovering around like an 8th, 9th seed, it's kind of scary because that's kind of one of the worst places to be in the league because that you just kind of stay like that. Like you're too bad. I mean, you're too good to get a good draft pick, to get good draft prospects, but you're not good enough to really like be promising. But because it's only 12, about to be 13 teams, things could change so fast in a W. It's like, yeah, I might not be good this year, but I could be really good next year. Like the Sparks have a chance to be, I'm not penciling them in for a playoff team, but I mean, they have the pieces to be a really solid team. And by next year, they could be really good. So, like, and they were bad last year. Um, Dallas won their very first playoff series since they were in Dallas last season. And then they're got the number 1 pick this year. So like you can be really good and then be terrible. You could be really terrible and then be good. Seattle was a bottom tier team, and then they got Skylar Diggins and NECA. Like there are just so many avenues to get better that stuff don't really last that long. Like it's not a lot of teams that last long at the bottom.
I will say
Have
too.
you seen the Sparks?
Well, the Sparks are cursed. I
Unique
will say that
situation.
they Candace Parker put a curse on them. Derek Fisher got some bad juju, but I think that little Derek Fisher saga is wearing off. The last remaining pieces are doing other things, so they're getting a little break. But yes,
I do think that, I mean, and even to the clock in point, like as a player who's not a superstar, I ain't even gonna say it. As a role player, being on a bad team can work in your favor if you're good. Like people will still be able to see the value that you bring to said team and be like, oh well, actually we probably could use her. And I think I don't know, I feel like that's more beneficial to you. Like I get that this wasn't the situation you wanted to be in, but like you can still be serviceable. And if you're good, people are going to be like, oh, actually, we do want to call about such and such, or we will trade our second round pick for her because we need her. And so I don't know. I think this iteration of the Sun will be like really good for the people that they bring on from training contracts. So like they have a lot of people right now that haven't really played in a little minute or at all. And so this is your opportunity to shine. I mean, y'all not gonna win a championship, so like you want to win some games, but you don't need to it's not like you need to go out there and like be crying after the loss. Like go out there, do your best and go home. Like it's okay.
I think the thing about Marina specifically is that this is her third team and this is her third trade request. She probably feel like if I put one of these bitches out, I'm gonna get it. Because I didn't got the other two. So I don't see why I can't get the third. I ain't never not got traded to where I wanted to.
I'm so sorry. To my sister. She costs too much.
Yeah, but yeah, it's we've gotten to the point, and I feel like this is like not even just like a basketball thing. I feel like this is like sports as a whole, where like you have people who I feel like when you do a certain amount for a franchise and then you ask for a trade because shit not working, it's like, you know what? I understand you. Like we tried our damnedest to get you right, and you tried your damnedest to get us right, and it didn't work. And now when you want to get out, it's fine. And now it's like role players are asking for trades and like having no trade clauses or being like, I don't want to go there, I want to go there. And it's like, what do you mean you don't want to go there? If they give me a good offer, nigga, you going. What are we talking about right now? Like, and this is more of an NBA thing, but we Jay, Dre, and Grant and I were talking about how like Kyle Kuzma like vetoed a trade to the Buck or not to the Bucks, but to
The Mavs.
the Mavs last year. Mind you, Kyle Kuzma does not have a no trade clause. He literally just said, I don't want to go there. Like, what do you mean you're telling me you don't want to go to the Mavs? Nigga, you're going. Pack your bags. You have not done anything here to even tell me where you're gonna go. Like, it's kind of cruel. But it's like I feel like as a GM, you gotta make tough decisions. Like sometimes you gotta be a little mean.
That's your job. Like your job
Your job is to be mean.
We don't give a fuck what she wants. Is this gonna make our franchise better? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. You're cooked. You're cooked. Honestly, I mean, to the little NBA side note rant, that man out of Dallas is going to hell. If they don't win a chip this season, and I do mean when June come around, if the trophy is not in Anthony Davis's hands, the fans need to jump him. And I'm dead ass. Jump him. Because what the fuck was that? Anyway.
I got some bad news.
It ain't gonna be no bad news for me, but
yeah. So speaking of Dallas, their portion of the trade. Jermaine, how do you feel about losing Nelissa Smith?
it kind of hurt me. I ain't gonna lie, it hurt me bad. But because I feel like Nelissa and Natasha Howard would have ate so bad. Kelly, why the fuck didn't you sing Katie Lou Samuelson? Like, come on. Fuck Chrissy Wallace.
Kurt was like, I got to get Nellis over here.
I know he was. He was probably like, actually, I don't want to hear any of that. Just Nalissa or nothing. And I'm like, he did the right thing. No, I do think it'll be good for her to have like a fresh start and just kind of figure herself out a little bit more. Especially too because their team is like now pretty young. So I feel like she'll kind of have more free reign to do low key whatever she want to do. Not whatever she want to do, but to some extent whatever she want to do. And kind of maybe carve herself out a role. I am interested, like for her, I think she sees herself as like this very big player. And she should, right? Like you should feel that you are very valuable and that you can do all the things that you put your mind to, right? But I'm just wondering about how she'll actually move on from this situation because it either could be a reality check of like you're not the girl that you want to be, and you need to figure out how you can like your expectations can match what you're actually putting out, or is it an opportunity for her to be like, these are the things I need to do to be the player that I think that I am. And I don't know which path she's gonna take. I'm hoping that maybe she'll pick the latter. And I think that'll work out better in Dallas's favor. And even in her favor in terms of like um having more prospects because I think her deal is I mean she only got 1 year left on her rookie scale contract. So like the next one like is gonna be the real thing. So like you really have to know what your value is and what you're going to actually bring to a team. So I really hope she kind of figures that out. But yeah, like I said, I'm sad about it, but I do think it was the right thing to do for her because I think this past season might have ruined her confidence a bit. Um, and that obviously you can't play well if you don't believe in yourself anymore. So um I think it was nice for Indiana to do. Would I have done it? I would have said, no, sister, try this out for 1 year, see if the shit don't work. And if it don't work, then you can go. But, you know, I guess that was nice of them. I mean, we got, I guess, the return, with what we got in return, I think I'm more okay with it because we didn't, like, get worse, per se.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I,
What about how Dejanay and Ty Harris fit into this team?
I don't know what that man plan is. I like just looking at this roster, like I mean, obviously this is, it's not the final roster. But just looking at the people they have currently, I think they'll be really fast.
oh, them girls will be running.
But I don't know what I don't know. Like I don't know what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, it feels like what Dallas is trying to do is we just needed an infusion of talent. And once we do that, we'll figure it out from there. It looks like they just wanted to bring in pieces. And then they'll say, okay, so from here, we'll figure out these lineup combinations and how we want to deploy these players on what system we want them running.
I can imagine if they go into the 2025 season and their guard rotation is Dejanay, Rike, Page, and Ty Harris. Like that's a really solid guard rotation. Like I can imagine they'll make a lot of subs and do a lot of like lineup combinations. Like Jermaine said, if they play fast, like they are going to be probably gonna be trying to run people at the gym. And it's like, all right, you gonna get these like first 5 to 8 minutes full speed. We're gonna swap you out with Ty Harris, and then you come in here and you do what you got to do, and then you go in there for your 5, and then Enrique come back in, and it's just like this is probably gonna be a really run and gun team. Enrique led the league in fast break points last year. Dallas as a whole was 4th, and like now they should be faster, so that'll be interesting. Something I'm also looking forward to is the fact that Jasmine Thomas is like a player development coach, or like a director. She's director of player programs and development coach. So I think she can be really good for all the guards there, like especially if it's whether it's Paige or Olivia or Kiki or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Paige, but still. Um, like she's gonna be really good for the guards that they have there. Um, this should be a really like this team should be like league pass all stars. Like if I can't watch my team, I'm gonna watch this one. Like they have fun players, 2 of them dating. Like you got one of the best bags in the league in Enrique. Like this is a really, really fun team. How good they're gonna be, I don't know, because I think it'll take a little minute for them to gel. But like this is good. The chemistry should be high. A lot of them are in new scenery or like returning. Um, so I'm excited to see what they make of it.
Well said, well said. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at some more transactions that we have not talked about. Um, the Dallas Wings also bringing in Maisha Hines-Allen. I
No,
think,
really, it's funny. I mean, I already told y'all this, but to tell the world, when we did our 2024 Dallas preview, Dawn said, Maisha Hines-Allen pick up the phone, and she picked up the phone. So, like, it kind of spoke that into existence.
I like that pickup too. I'm a fan of her game in general. So like I liked what she brought to Minnesota. So I think that'll be an interesting pickup for Dallas.
Yeah, I like her.
Um,
I think she'll
we
be great
already
for them.
talked
Listen,
about we already talked about Connecticut bringing in Tina Charles. Um, Phoenix signed Sammy Whitcomb.
Now, that honestly is why I feel like I actually feel a little bit higher on them. Because I'm like, you brought in shooting. And so you can't, I mean, yeah, that added to my belief in them, I think.
Um, the LA Sparks signed Emma Cannon.
My
There's a lot
girl,
of that's Jermaine girl. The Valkyries officially signed Monique Billings after um, not giving her the core designation after selecting her, but it all works out. The
they
Connecticut
they
Sun.
signed the Valkyrie signed another player who got cored or who got protected.
Oh yes, we will get there. We will get there. Just wait. Um, the Connecticut Sun signing Diamond DeShields. I like that because why not? We need somebody to come in who. So
and
come
she
do that.
will.
She will. The Valkyries officially signed Veronica Burton and Julie Von Lowe. The Sun trade Rebecca Allen to the Sky for Lindsay Allen. We touched on that. The Sky also signed Kia Nurse to a 1-year contract.
And for the people who haven't watched AU, Kia Nurse got in that game yesterday and hit like 4 straight threes. Like, no bullshit. I was like, Kia, please. Like, what? They were like, oh, like, what, how do you, feel about it or whatever? And she was like, yeah, I missed all of them in like the shoot around. So I feel like I was gonna have a good game. I was like, girl, what? But yeah, I think that's a good pickup for them. It gives them shooting, and she's like a veteran talent. She just, I don't know, she actually kind of seems like a nice lady to be around. So
All right, Jermaine. Let's talk about the Indiana Fever signing DeWanna Bonner and Sydney Colson to 1-year contracts. I don't think this offseason could have gone any better for you, but you have the floor.
Poe's mad. I need the music. I need the music to play like in the background. I need that. I just, yeah, I need to make myself a TikTok about it. I won. I hate them because like y'all would do this when I move out of that state, but
Uh-huh.
I can't lose. I really can't lose, honestly. I can't lose, man. Like it's funny because a lot of people were like, why would they pick DeWanna? Why would they pick Sydney? They're old, blah, blah, blah. Sydney and DeWanna was on Caitlyn's ass. Okay? Now they're not on anybody else's team. She is fine. I mean, like every other defense she's seen, she's like kind of figured it out. But those two are on her ass. Now they're her teammates. So we won. Like now too, it's like I know I don't have to have that Australian on my team as a ball handler. I won in that regard. Um, I think too, like, and Dolores kind of tweeted this, but I was thinking about when we talked to Elena, she was just talking about how like Sid was such a good vet for her, and she just kind of instilled a lot of confidence in her, and just kind of told her, just kind of believe in yourself. And I think that's something that I think Aaliyah really needs. And I don't want it to make it seem like, you know, Aaliyah needs to be babied or whatever. But I think she hasn't had a vet that was solid enough. She hasn't really had a vet that was better than her yet. So it's like to have somebody who's been in the league for a long time, and both DeWanna and Sid, and who are both been talked about as people who like are soft places to land and are also really encouraging. I think that's something she needs because the Fevers, whether people want to like believe it or not, like the Fevers' future is hinged on Aaliyah being good. Like if Aaliyah comes out playing the way that she did in those first 10 games of last season, they're cooked. Like and I get we have like all this talent and all that kind of stuff, but they're really only gonna move as she moves. Because at the end of the day, Aaliyah is still like one of the best bigs in the league. And in order for you can't really win without having that. And we watched, we saw DB and Natasha Howard like really give good minutes on other teams, but they also proved that like they cannot do it by themselves, right? Like they cannot be the main ones holding it together. And I think we have I think all of those additions gives us a lot of wiggle room, especially when, Kaylin and Kelsey are not having great nights or what any combination of Kaylin, Kelsey, Aaliyah. So I think we did really well. Like I'm really excited for all of them. I don't know how they're going to I don't know how the rest of the roster is gonna shake out because that 3 spot is getting a little crowded. And but I mean, I don't know. I think I can sadly see us being a 4 seed. Assuming Aaliyah is at least where she was last season. Honestly, I need her to take a step forward, but if she's at bare minimum where she was at the end of last season, I can see us being a 4 seed.
It's funny because
I,
Grant
yeah.
asked if y'all were gonna be a 4 seed, and I said no, and Jay said yeah, and then y'all signed Sydney Colson, and I was like, damn, y'all are gonna be a 4 seed. Y'all got y'all vibe higher. Like that's every good team needs a vibe higher. If you don't have one of those, you're cooked.
I just I just love this roster. Like the way that this team is constructed right now. Like I don't know how um Stephanie White is going to, have them out there, what scheme they're gonna run or any of that. But the way that this team is built, it feels like a seamless fit for, the ideal offense for a team being built around Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark for a what they want this team to look like. Now, whether it'll come to fruition in this one season is yet to be seen, but I think this is the direction that you would want your team to go.
Yeah, and at the very least, even if it does, like even if we don't, like this season, next season is not championship or bust for me. Um, but at the very least, even if you don't, you're definitely you're gonna get playoff experience. You have players who've been there, who've done that, and can sort of like navigate you through this, right? Like we don't have to, and I'm hoping to this like, um, Stephanie White is the person that I have like a lot of expectation for right now. Um, because I don't want to see Caitlin playing 30 minutes. I don't want to see it. Quite frankly, like she last season she was probably playing maybe more than that. I don't want to see that. Um and also I don't want to see her like I know she's a ball in her hand player and that's what everybody wants her to do, but I need her to get off the ball a little bit. I need to see her be able to do something different when shit gets hard. Um and so I'm really looking forward to seeing um what Stephanie sort of draws up for her too. And I think she'll, be well rested and all the things. So um I'm not worried about her like improving at all, but I think a lot of it too is really hinging on Steph White doing something. Um and two, I think this might make or break her like her legacy in a sense that like if you can't get right with this team, questions will be asked. And I don't think they're gonna be kind to you for too much longer. For me, I we always say like minimum 3 years, but like
We say that, but
yes,
everybody does
we
not
say that,
agree.
but I don't
Yeah,
know.
so
But these acquisitions make it feel like you don't have 3 years. You have,
right,
or maybe two,
one
maybe
year. Yeah.
Y'all
It
know, y'all
was
know if y'all
it
don't
was
win the
it was
championship this
30.
year, people gonna have y'all head.
they already are. Like is
Yeah. They that's
hard
that's
now.
that's just
You
that's
know what I
just the
mean?
nature of it. Like when teams make big moves like this, people expect a lot of you. Also, it was 35 minutes per game for Caitlin Clark last season.
Just nasty, just nasty. Like it was literally no reason for Caitlin to play 35 minutes. Like not a single. And people was like mad that people were saying that she was stat padding, but she slick was sometimes. Like I'm like, sit her ass down. Like she would be in the game, can't breathe, but she don't want to sit down because it's getting down to that time. I'm like, well, if you had sat down 3 minutes at the beginning of the fourth or in the second half of the third, you might could breathe right now.
You kind of have to know how to, and that's a coaching thing too, like how you stagger those minutes. Because if you say, okay, we need her to close the game, we need her to play the final whatever minutes, that's fine. But you need to pick your spots basically. Because I'm looking at the distribution for last season. Caitlin was playing 35 minutes, Kelsey Mitchell 32 minutes, Aaliyah 31 minutes. Like them three playing
To the
the whole
ground,
game.
bro. Like
Like
just insane. And and that's, I mean, I think too that was the sort of the frustrating thing for me with Christy is that like at some point you already exceeded expectations, right? Like you had already won 12 games. Maybe this is a time for you to mix it up. Honestly, at the beginning of the fucking season, you should have been mixing it up. Because there's no reason why we couldn't have seen Grace minutes or Celeste minutes or Victoria minutes or whatever the fuck. Because your team wasn't good. Like let's be honest, they weren't good. And that's okay. Like, I mean, I had low expectations for them. Like I needed y'all to win 10 games and that was it. And you exceeded that, and that's fantastic. But going back to what we always talk about, the having expectations for your franchise, like y'all are not winning this year. So you do not have to have this like perfectly laid out final five. Like figure out who works well with who brings out the best in what. Like what plays can we run here and there? And I don't think we did enough of that. I mean, obviously Christy's not there anymore. Sorry to my sister. I hate that for her, but that's kind of what I expect from Steph White. So we'll see.
so last thing, this question is for Don. So I'm just gonna tie these transactions together. We got the Las Vegas Aces have signed Cheyenne Parker Tyus to a what is considered a training camp contract for now. But we just spoke about Sydney Colson signing with Indiana. Tiffany Hayes has signed a 1 year deal with Golden State. And it is reported that Alicia Clark is signing with the Seattle Storm. How do you feel about the Aces, Don?
You know, I was a little sad, kind of seeing how all these things went down, but I understood. You know, uh, Becky didn't play uh uh Sid that much, so I mean, the I understood why she left. Anyway, I mean, it was time for a change of scenery, regardless. Um, They gave her a big bag. Like we ain't got that.
She's a scammer, by the way. She's never been the scammer allegations. I don't care. Continue.
I wish that we did not court her because we could still have Kate right now. So that kind of pisses me off. Um, Alicia Clark, I also understand. I mean, I felt like she was probably gonna retire soon anyway. Like, I'm pretty sure I would not be surprised it's her last year. So for her wanting to end it where it started, that's beautiful. Um, I do very much enjoy the Cheyenne Parker Tice signing. Uh, I know I joke about her bringing the ball up the court very often because I think that's funny. But uh, I think she can make I mean, we need a front court help. Um, I really want Kenny Carter, to be honest. I don't care if she's a basketball terrorist. I want that. I don't know. I don't care. Um, or Dana. Let me get Dana at the very least. But I don't know. I feel like people were even before Cheyenne signed. I feel like people were very like doom and gloom on this season of the Aces, and I kind of understand that because I know we haven't had a lot of bench help, but I feel like
Did you know?
even we
Did you?
never we never had that. Like that's just not something we ever had. Like even when we won, like I texted y'all this. We've won 5 out of the 6 last six player of the year awards. But like that sixth player is not really like a sixth player. Like that probably person more than likely plays starter minutes, and then there's a fake person starting. So like it's like I don't really starters playing heavy minutes like that can be concerning and they can get tired and things like that. I definitely understand. Um, and it could probably lead to some sloppy play during the season. But I feel like these players get like ample rest during the playoffs. And even if the Aces may not play that well, let's say they're like a fifth seed or whatever. Let's say if we didn't get any bench help and or front court help, and we kind of just went into the same roster without Alicia Clark and Sid and Tip. If we were a fifth seed, if people worried about home court advantage, I feel like if you can't win on the road, you wasn't gonna win a championship regardless. Like that's just not something I really concern myself with. Like, yeah, home court advantage is fantastic. That like that can't be understated. But I just feel like if you can't beat teams on the road, there wasn't no way you was gonna win. It's just not a that shouldn't be something that I'm like that shouldn't be something I feel like I need to believe in my team to win is home court advantage. So to me, if they didn't do much in the offseason, if anything at all, and then just played somewhat up and down during the season, or they rested their starters more so that Asian them can be good come playoff time, I would still be like Aces in 3 because that's just how I am.
I mean, you still have Asia Wilson.
Yeah,
It's not like
Yeah,
she died or
you
something.
got
you
got
got
Asia
Asia.
and Chelsea and Jewel
And Jewel, like
and Jackie.
I feel
Like,
like people are really underselling the Jewel thing,
oh
and
no,
it's
no, people when I seen somebody say the Aces let go of two people that was better than Jewel, I said, whoa,
no,
we are jumping the gun.
no, I had to call them delusional because you talk about Tip Hayes is better than Jewel Lloyd. The KP thing, I might let you ride with it. I'm just this one time. Just
Man,
this
that
one
KP
time I said
thing was some DEI stuff, but
it. Clock it. But the Tip thing, I Tip like even with Jules like fucking terrible shooting nights. Like, be for real. Like, I know Tip got good PR right now because she won that 6-1 man and she looked good and unrivaled. But y'all gotta stop playing. Y'all gotta stop being disrespectful. And honestly, I feel like Jewel gonna walk in that bitch with restored spirit. Like, I can like personally, I'm not worried about the Aces like at all. I'm kind of glad. I don't think y'all bitches need anything else nice. I need my team to win. We are in a small window at this point, so I don't want y'all to get anything else. But to be fair though, I think also like it's not like the free agents that are available, like there are still decent ones. Like Mercedes Russell is right there. Izzy Harris is right there. Tiffany Mitchell is right there. Like
listen,
a walk is right there. Like Queen Expo is right there. Like, no, they're not like, you know,
if
some
we
of
do
them can be 10 points off the bench, but like
if we do and then we also have Liz coming back, which is like I feel like her taking a year, even though she was rehabbing from injury, but her taking a year is probably really good for her. So I'm excited to see what she adds. Um, but yeah, if we can get some combination of like Dana and a Izzy and a Walk or something, like someone who wants to just win, because I think there are a lot of players right now who just want to just win and are comfortable with. I think the issue with Chicago at times is not only was I not playing like that, but we weren't winning games either. Like, don't tell me I can't play and we lose. Like, all right now. All right, come on. But yeah, I think with Dana and Izzy and like, Oaks coming back or again, I don't care what's wrong with Kennedy. I need that. um, it's people it's still pretty good pieces to be added to the team. Like there are a lot still pretty good free agents, and then we of course we still have the draft. So I don't know what they're gonna do by the time the draft rolls around, but
They
yeah,
stumbled into a first round pick that they were not supposed to have. Scamming.
That's just what they do. It's just what they do.
As long as my team has Asia Wilson, I will never complain for too long. I definitely won't. I think people were getting to the point where they felt like we weren't in position to win a championship. And as long as that girl was on my roster, we are in position to win a championship. I don't care who else on the court. To be completely honest with you, it could be us. Like we gonna be in a game. So yeah, I couldn't think too deep about it, but I do love the Cheyenne signing.
Good. So, my heart and mind is not clear yet. I have one question. It's like slightly messy, but it's one question. Is Vegas just waiting to see if New York cuts Jalen Sherrod?
What? Honestly, that benefits my sister, so I don't give a fuck.
Speaking of New
Let
York,
her go.
why
Free her.
why
Free her.
why has Stewie not signed her contract yet? What's she waiting on?
That's the T too, really.
You know why? You know why? Because because what she's gonna do is she's gonna see what move they make, and then she's gonna sign for 1 year, and then next offseason we're gonna do this thing all over again.
She want attention. She gonna sign for 1 year regardless. She want
Dewey's
attention.
gonna be in Seattle. I like some in my spirit is just that it's just like because she's not nasty for this because you know what I'm saying, get your bag, sister. But to me, like it just feels like you really not, this is not really a team friendly move. You know what I'm saying? Like you just won a championship with these people. You said you liked them, but you didn't sign that deal and you let them core you? Like she could have signed a 1 year deal at like a whatever value. But like now you've locked the team into a supermax. And get your money, King, but like
King is
are we
crazy. King is crazy.
I didn't mean it like that, but it's just I didn't mean it like that. But still, like, what's happening? What's happening? I don't know. I feel like I don't know if she's gonna be in New York. That's my hot take.
That would be so.
My hot
I,
take.
like I can't I would be stunned to see her sign anywhere else. But I would be here for the chaos. So
My hot take is that New York is about to take a, a solid step back this year season. Like
is that a hot take, or is that like
it's
Luka.
hate. No.
or is that like wishful thinking?
It's hate and hot take. I feel
That's fair.
like
That's fair.
I see the way Stewie is moving and it just look older and
It just
Sabrina's
look older. It's crazy.
Stewie is looking not primish. Like we're getting there.
She's not in her prime. I think we need to also stop acting like it's an insult to say she's not in her prime. That lady is 30.
No.
It's like it is
It's
perfectly
over.
it is expected actually to not be in your prime.
Every time I watch, it's funny that you brought this up one episode. I think it was like the first episode we talked about our rival. I think you can tell when you brought up that she's taking shots that she would have in her prime, and she just don't have like the lift and the spark and the like drive to really pull it off in the same way. So it looked kind of like, ugh. Like
He looked
it's
crazy.
it's smooth, but it's like it's not getting there. It's like, okay, well, if Stewie take a step back, and I still in my heart of hearts cannot believe in Sabrina like that. Like Sabrina's really good, but it's like, and then
And
I
was
don't.
she though?
Her regular season,
before the finals, before
she
like
played
she
a
was
great, she had a
like
great season before the finals, like
I'm
great.
yeah,
gonna
like
say the
she
regular season, I was giving my sister her ones. After that, when the regular season, that clock hit, that it was over. What the fuck was she doing? I ain't like none of that.
Yeah, as soon as that finals hit, she got nasty. Now, my to me, uh, New York's being good or not depends on how serious John Quill is going to be. Because I feel like she had a lot to prove last year, and now she got her Finals MVP, and now she got her chip. Is she really gonna be on that type of time, or like, yeah, I'm out to get it. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know.
JJ's gonna be like, I'll wrap this shit up. Wrap it up.
But Aja is not the healthiest player at the moment, unfortunately, and yeah. So I don't know. That team does not, and of course they didn't get Satu, so it's like I don't know.
And they don't have Kayla Thornton no more. Your vibe,
Yeah.
that was their vibes player. She's gone.
that's fair.
So it's like I don't know. It Of course you have to respect them because they have Stewie, they have John Quill, they're champs, but it's also like I just don't know if they'll have the same vigor and yeah, they just don't. I think last year I felt a sense of like I don't want to call it fear, but I definitely could see you like playing them and being like, I don't know about
Desperation.
this, but now I can see us playing them again and being like, we better whoop their ass. I just didn't feel like that last year.
Yeah, because they was prepared to beat y'all ass.
Yeah.
Y'all were quite frankly the only people they was really prepared to beat down. I ain't gonna lie. Like
Now
they was getting
Minnesota,
spooky. Like
Minnesota, them girls put some fear in my heart. I don't know if that's, I don't know. The team scare me.
especially the way K-Mac playing, bro. That shit need to go away. As soon as when the WC start, matter of fact, even before that, May 14th, wrap that shit up. You need to leave that shit in Miami. Like, what the fuck she got going on? Like,
Don't bring that to the preseason.
Yeah, she been on it.
Don't like
Because the
that.
first time she dropped 40, I'm gonna be shaking in my boots.
All right, man. All hearts and minds are clear over here.
All hearts and minds are clear on this side as well.
I've said enough. Do you have anything you want to say, Sabria?
No, I think I'm good.
Well, thank you again for joining us. Again, you do a lot for the women's basketball space, and it is very lovely to see the things that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're very honored to have you on here.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll be back and on camera soon.
You let us know.
I will.
Well, this has been. Oh, wait, go ahead. I didn't cut you off. My bad.
Oh no, I will. And I'll say, friend, did you see that DB offer her a DB and AT jersey?
No, I'm gonna go quote her. Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna get in her D. Like, let me go DM her. Actually, I
I
need it.
don't.
I need it.
Yeah, that's it.
She about to get rewarded.
Listen, and so that's what everybody on the timeline saying. Like, oh, so I just got to start beef with players and then I get a jersey. Cause I remember when Dolores was going back and forth with Deja Kelly, and she was supposed to send him a jersey.
Yeah, she was. That was like, what is? Why is that? Like, I don't understand why that's it. It's all like, I mean, I get it. I guess.
I'm about to beef with Rakia Jackson tonight.
Get her on the pod next week.
Because if that's the case, why I don't got some cereal and a package at my house if that's all it took to get it.
Yeah, actually, she owe you some cereal, McDonald's. Like you kind of owe a lot of shit going on. Like your package needs to be on the way.
She owe you a check.
It's all
she owe you a check, courtside seats.
I'll just take the package.
Well, this has been another episode of Pull Up 3. I am Paragon Don.
I'm Jamae.
They Trent.
Oh, you know what? We did
That's
never go
Subria.
over. That is Subria. We never went over this with her. That's our fault.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, and I'm Subria.
Yeah.
All right, and cut off.
I wish I knew